Awesome.
Hey everyone!
we got a full stack panel here.
Totally. Awesome. Welcome everyone to our show, NFTCON. I'm glad to be able to bring Vancouver family onto the show today. I mean, because I just want to everybody know why Vancouver is actually such a hotbed for like NFTs and like Web3 talent, and nobody knows about it. So that's why we have to tell people more about it.
Yeah, so definitely. I also say, I'm Pacific Northwest as well, down in Seattle as well. So there's been a lot of cool stuff happening up here, but I'd say it's actually more exciting up in Vancouver than it is in Seattle. And in this panel, you kind of will hear about all the different projects that's building out there, and even some of the biggest projects that you might know in NFTs, gaming, metaverses. Luckies actually being built, or a lot of the team is actually built up north as well too. So for us here at Dcentral, we always like to highlight different communities, especially different ecosystems, as well as regions as well. That's kind of like our roots as well. Like I hosted Seattle DevCon, largest Seattle blockchain conference, and did other events in like Singapore, other locations as well. Hopefully we do some more stuff in Vancouver as well too, in Canada events. But we always like to highlight different builders outside of just like the traditional hubs that you always see. Everybody's making a lot of noise about Miami, which is true, but there's still a lot of builders, a lot in other spaces as well. And also too, there's heads down building as well. And we want to kind of like highlight that, show the creatives and projects that's building out there too. So we're happy to have this panel up. To kick things off, I guess, with the intro, I guess we can kind of move our way from right to left. We can start with you, Reid.
Thanks for the intro here. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Reid. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of cocoNFT. So based, here in Vancouver. We got a beautiful day here, which is nice. For those who don't know, Vancouver is typically this time of year dark, gray, and rainy. So when it's sunny, it is a phenomenal day for everybody here. So you'll have a very happy panel today. And yeah, cocoNFT, we're all about helping creators get started with NFTs. Today, we start by helping anybody turn Instagram posts into NFTs. So about most of our teams here in Vancouver. So yeah, excited to have the chat today with everybody.
Awesome. And Casey.
Hey, everybody. I'm Casey, based here in Vancouver. I have my own project called the DEVIA.N.T.S. Because I wanted to launch it here in Vancouver, and it's a very exciting city to be part of. It's my hometown. And I also launched a community meetup called Webcouver with a 3 instead of an E there, because there was so much going on here. And I wanted to make sure that everybody, after COVID and being apart from so long, was able to get together again and meet each other. And I met all these people at that event that are on this panel now. So it's great, at least in real life. Usually they're a cartoon on Twitter, but now they're real humans. So it's great to see them and be part of the community here.
Great. And then Larry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Larry Lau. I'm one of the co-founders of Odd Future. We're a creative studio that works with brands and effectively Web2 companies and Web2 businesses enter kind of like the Web3 space. So we recently launched our own NFT project called Luckies with a very well-known celebrity artist. Luckies is this project that celebrates a lot of Asian culture. It features the 12 zodiacs, Chinese zodiacs. It was kind of our first Genesis project, but within Odd Future, based here in Vancouver, we've been hosting NFT meetups. We have one later on today that Casey will be at, and we have a few more spots. It was sold out, but we have a few more spots for those that are interested. You can hit me up on Twitter. But we have that at 6 p.m. if you're in Vancouver space. And really our mission and goal is to help make Web3 adoption go mainstream, both for brands, businesses, and consumers.
Awesome. And last but not least, Camilla.
Hi, my name's Carmilla Sumantry. I'm an NFT artist here in Vancouver. I began in the NFT space early last year. And through that, I began exploring other areas of the space, from DAOs to community building and strategy. So now I'm doing a little bit of everything. Still working on my own artwork and collaborations with music artists primarily, as well as doing some community building initiatives here in Vancouver and strategy for some international Web3 projects.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we had Deluxe Glow. I don't know if he's a fellow Canadian or he's actually in Vancouver too. He's asking where's Webcouver.
He wants to know about tonight's event, I think.
Oh yeah.
We'll share that a bit later, but I don't know. Been with Casey helping out with the Webcouver event, and it was so great to learn so much more about what's happening in Vancouver. I mean, it hasn't been easy to find out, but it seems like everybody is coming together and sharing this information now. I hear about this show in May. I'm just wondering, Carmilla, can you share that? Tell us more about what's happening?
Yeah, for sure. So I threw one of the first meetups in Vancouver for the NFT community back in November, and it was small, but it was a success, and a lot more people showed up than I honestly expected to. And through that, I realized that the Web3 community here is super eager to meet up in real life and get involved and get connected. And I think we all kind of realize at the same time the importance of having those IRL connections in this space, just to kind of like verify the legitimacy of each other's projects and support each other, and just grow those networks. So after that, I started planning something a little bit bigger along with my management company, Simkin Artist Management. And now we're throwing this big art party. We've got all these big artists in Vancouver, and I really wanted to have an event to showcase that journey. I think that at the beginning of last year, what brought a lot of people into the NFT space were these artists who found a new way to monetize their craft. And I just wanted to celebrate that and bring some of those people on stage and just celebrate with the local community. It's going to be a very chill vibe, couple panels, and then we're bringing in a DJ and showcasing local artists' work. And there's also going to be a parallel party in the metaverse through Dcentral for anybody who's outside of Vancouver, so you can all join in and be connected with us.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. Could you share with us, who are some of the artists that will be participating?
Yeah, so we have Fuckrender, Victor Mascara, Mad Dog Jones, Shams Meka, and Beige, and myself, who are the artists who are going to be on stage on the panels. And then a whole slew of local artists will have their work shown as well.
Sounds really cool. So, Casey, what are you up to? What sort of NFT have you been creating?
Oh, just the normal kind of NFT that's out there. Everybody's getting one of these things. Okay, well, thanks for the setup. But for personally, I'm a big collector of normal physical goods, and so getting in and seeing the digital version of it becoming so popular has been very exciting to me. I've been looking at the space since 2018, so that it's kind of like super galvanized this last couple of years is really exciting. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think the biggest thing was that I found out that Dapper Labs is from Vancouver. They are now almost an $8 billion company. They released the NBA Top Shot everybody knows about. They got into the NFL and they got the UFC. And then from there, they're like the Google of, Google is like a Silicon Valley company, and a lot of the people who worked there left and then started their own companies, same as PayPal, all these kind of companies. So you can almost see Dapper's like that. So a lot of the people left and started other companies here that makes Vancouver such a major city. And so I wanted to be part of that. I want to be part of the vibe here. With Carmilla, what she's talking about, the artistic side, Vancouver is very, very, very creative, which is really, different. A lot of people don't know that, right? They also just think about the environment and maybe Ryan Reynolds. I don't know what people think of Vancouver, but I'm assuming that's what people think of Vancouver. So it's exciting to see that Web3 is such a major thing here, and that people like Larry and Reid are doing such cool things. There's so many companies here like Manifold, West Coast NFT. And of course, if you were at South by Southwest last week, the Doodles made a big impact there, and they are from Vancouver as well. The three founders are building that up, and it's super exciting. So the rest of us are just kind of riding their coattails. So that's what we're working on. I'm like, hey, I'm from Vancouver too. So check out my NFT project.
Does that mean there's going to be more people moving here just for, you know, this creativity to tap into this? You know, I'm not sure, but is it easy to find people to help you with your NFT project if you want, you know, needed that help?
I don't think you need to move here to do it because, you know, the world's so remote these days. But definitely, you know, getting and talking with other founders who are making stuff, and there's so many of them here, I think you learn a lot. Like I learned a lot from our Vancouver event. I hope to learn a lot from Larry's event tonight. Just, you know, hearing what people are talking about, what people are doing. You can go to Twitter Spaces and listen to this all day long if you want. It's just on and on and on there. But just, you know, maybe asking questions and being a bit more hands-on with people who are building stuff. It's very exciting. So I think that's why Vancouver has this kind of just amazing. There's such a huge community here already that I think, and it's because it's so welcoming. There's people from all over the world here that are building stuff, not just Canadians, right? So I think that's very exciting.
Yeah. So, Larry, we hear about this event you're holding tonight. Please tell us more about what NFTs you've been making, and also like how you've been involved in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So both Nick and I, we really got into NFTs because of VeeFriends. Us both being kind of traditional, I don't want to say traditional, but my background, I've been a serial entrepreneur kind of like my whole life. I do a lot of active angel investing, sitting on boards and advisory for a lot of high growth startups. And really, we understand Web2 world. But a lot of these brands are also trying to understand like what is NFT, and it's more than just a JPEG. So but us kind of having like this kind of inherent interest, we kind of found this really great niche to work with these big brands that we're really excited to announce that we're able to be their Web3 partner. I actually just had a conversation with Reid yesterday, and we share a lot of the same goals about helping people that are new adopters, because the world right now is very like immediate gratification. So it really requires a lot of companies and brands to do it for the right reasons to help shape and change that kind of narrative and that ecosystem. So for us, the NFT meetup that we're hosting today, it's more of a kind of intermediate event talking about the landscape and kind of what's going on in the space. We've been hosting these NFT 101s as a webinar to help people understand how to buy crypto, what are NFTs, things to look for. And we have also hosted, we're hosting a NFT lunch and learn for business owners on April 19th. So we're creating a lot of events, creating a lot of activations. We've been hosting these kind of like monthly meetups back starting around September amongst our kind of close circle of friends, a lot of entrepreneurs. And really, we're trying to help facilitate that education. One of the things I mentioned to Reid yesterday, and I'm excited to share, not too prematurely, but we're looking to partner with one of the big 5 consulting firms and disseminate a lot of their industry expertise and information from a financial tax implication so that we can actually now transfer that information to a broader audience base. So this is really our goal. It's multifaceted, from building our own projects to kind of like the Web3 services to building kind of like, again, just IRL activations, experiences, just to bring the community together.
That's really cool. I mean, and then so what were you guys discussing? So Reid, what do you get up to?
Yeah, we discussed a lot. Also, shout out to the Doodles, the shirt I'm representing as a great Vancouver. What do I get up to? Probably a good story, and it ties into Doodles and Vancouver being such a small world sometimes. I'll start there. So my background has been in like the Web2 technology space. I, worked at companies here in Vancouver like Hootsuite, which is a large like social media management platform. So spent a lot of time, living in the world of social media. My wife is a photographer, and I joke that I spent a couple of years as like an Instagram boyfriend and husband. Then I got fired. She quickly outgrew my capabilities as a horrible point-and-shoot photographer, but got to see kind of her experience building out the creator side, but also during the day helping small businesses and creators understand, how they were actually interacting with that technology and how social networks were, enabling that, hindering that, and the kind of complications and crossroads that come up there. And so when I started to look more and more into the NFT space early last year, definitely on the heels of kind of NBA Top Shot, just like taking things really mainstream, I was very curious at the opportunities for creators to have better monetization opportunities that were not just brand partnerships. That's like the most common one that you'll see out there today. But as I started to test things out, and I consider myself a fairly technical person, I just realized how complicated every single layer is. And for anybody that's tried to talk a friend through to onboarding with NFTs or crypto, there's just so many steps that make no sense, and so many steps that are really complicated, or a lot of things that you need to be worried about along the way. And there's a lot of easy mistakes to be made. And so I was really fascinated on making this easier. And how do you make something that's going to help on-ramp the millions of people that are clearly not trading and producing NFTs today? And so that's where we tried the idea of cocoNFT came out, which was an on-ramp for creators to get started by leveraging the platforms they've already built and a huge amount of catalog they have with Instagram. And we did a hackathon with ETH Global, if anybody's familiar with them. They're a phenomenal organization, holds a lot of hackathons. And after the crazy 36 hours putting that together, my wife was pregnant at the time and really wanted fried chicken. So we went out for down low fried chicken off the drive here in Vancouver, which is one of the only places that I'll wait in line for food. And while in line, I noticed there's 3 people behind me talking about NFTs, and they also started talking about Zapier, which was the company I previously worked for. And I was like, wow, this is way too small of a coincidence. Like, I need to go talk to these random people behind me. And one of them turned out to be Evan, who created Doodles. And he was actually been phenomenally helpful, helping me learn more about the NFT space and understanding who's here in Vancouver, and met a lot more Vancouverites along the way. And like I said, about half our team is based here in Vancouver. So it's been fun building that and learning about, how many hidden crypto and NFT people there are in Vancouver. It's always shocking when I talk to someone, they turn out to be here. It's a fun little journey.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's what I found out as well. Vancouver, I'm from Vancouver. That's why, but I haven't lived there for a long time, but I always knew they're all like kind of hidden, like the NFTs are all here, but you just have to find them. I mean, Justin, what do you think? What is the difference between like Vancouver and Seattle?
Well, I think they're very similar in a way, but the thing about Vancouver though is, you got the EA game, you got the traditional like big video game design, and even the marketing and stuff up there too, and then it's also kind of more of a finance hub, whereas like down here in Seattle is more corporate, and so like everybody is just Amazon or cloud based, and so the blockchain projects down here is like the T-Mobile, Boeing's, not the creatives. There's not really any creative people down here in Seattle. I wouldn't say it's super creative, and so that's why I think it's like super cool. Obviously, with like what's going on in NFT space, entertainment, and even just like fintech as well too, from that standpoint. And then also too is just in Vancouver, there's a huge international crossover market from Asia over into there, whereas Seattle's just Seattle. There's some crossover, but not as much businesses as heavily as it is too. And then also too, I don't know, everybody in Seattle just left, so they went to Miami or went to the beach, they escaped there. But the Seattle community got just like super small. Things are picking back up, but it's just really engineers and developers and stuff, which is cool. But I think that what I'm seeing is the community is much more active, and there's a lot more stuff happening in Vancouver. So I'll definitely have to make my way up there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm waiting for you to come up and meet everyone.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, any other, ideas about, why Vancouver is a great place for Web3 or NFTs?
I'll throw one thing out. I mean, we talked about the influence of Dapper. I mean, it's hard not to start there without a doubt. I mean, they've been here since 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and clearly produced a lot of fantastic talent. The other thing that I think Vancouver does really well in is it's a really cool cross section of people, like artists and creatives, but you also then have the developer side. Like Vancouver has a lot of tech companies and a lot of talented developers. And oftentimes developers who've been doing really cool stuff. And so I think that cross-section obviously plays really well in the world of NFTs, but so much of it is it has to be developed, especially in the earlier days. You had to do, you had to find someone who might know Solidity if you wanted to do something interesting with NFTs. And you had quite a lot of crypto experience here as well. So it was kind of a cool kind of cross section that took place here in Vancouver between those creatives and a lot of the technical talent as well. So I think that was one of the things that I love seeing, and I think a key reason for Vancouver here.
Does anybody else think?
Yeah, I can add to that a little bit. So I guess like my dark secret is I'm technically kind of based out of Toronto, but I am bi-coastal. I have a number of different businesses here in Vancouver, and Odd Future is based here in Vancouver. So I am not a con artist on this panel, but it's really because Vancouver, for a lot of the reasons, I like Dapper Labs and Axiom Labs and like CryptoKitties, like all of that origination really came from here, originated here in Vancouver. I do make a lot of parallels, and I think that was already spoken about, like comparisons with like the Facebook, the Shopify's, all these really heavy hitter companies. It's very normal for a lot of kind of, I guess, like alumni. You may have heard this before, this term of like alumni from Uber and alumni from Facebook and Google. And these are really talented individuals that have this really in-depth knowledge of a certain industry. And they are great developers, great product managers, and they end up doing and creating their own companies. And that's really, I think, why Vancouver as a hub is a really great, amazing space for embracing Web3. Again, being from Toronto, I will be returning to Toronto tomorrow, but I'll be back in Vancouver and in LA in a couple of weeks. And as much as I have a lot of contacts and a large network in Toronto, very few people that I know understand NFTs. As much as I'm trying to help kind of cultivate that a little bit more, because in the end, Odd Future, we want to be a large kind of global business one day. It's not even close. Like the amount of people that I talk to, I remember even taking an Uber from the airport, and the gentleman was asking me about like, oh, like what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm really big in Web3 now. And he's like, oh, NFTs, and we're literally having a conversation about, he's trying to shill me on different projects. And I have never experienced that. We're hosting a meetup next week in Toronto, and the appetite and the interest is like so much more rudimentary than it is here. And the different activations and stuff that like I was able to I guess had a small feature at Vancouver. Just the amount of people that were there and understood the space, and even like the meetups that we host, it's like it's day and night. And I'm not trying to trash my own kind of like city, even though I'm technically also not from Toronto, from London, Ontario. I'm in a crisis, like identity crisis, but it's just very different, and I see the vibe, and that's really why we wanted to open and start Odd Future here in Vancouver.
I mean, Carmilla, what do you think? What else would you have to add to Vancouver? What makes it so unique?
Yeah, I think this was touched on a little bit, but we really do have this growing like tech scene, as well as the art community, and so much talent from the film industry as well. So I think especially during the pandemic times, a lot of those film people were out of work, and I think that a lot of them probably started exploring NFTs through that and finding ways to autonomously monetize their craft as well. I think we just have like a perfect combination of industries here. It makes sense.
Great. It's like the perfect melting pot, right? Casey, any last words about what you think?
About Vancouver? Well, I since I've been here, I feel like there's this crazy rivalry between Toronto and Vancouver. Everyone's always seems to be talking about that. I'm just like pro Canada. Like let's people here to fight each other over this kind of stuff. I did that in Hong Kong and Singapore for many years, and it's just a time. Everybody has their own specialties. Everybody has their own cool things. Toronto is. I'm not going to say whatever, but I just think Vancouver, from my perspective as a comic book writer, as what my NFT project is about, doing CG animation, all this kind of stuff, video games, animation, special effects. Vancouver is the city for all this. right? Everybody knows it's called Hollywood North because there's so many. When I walk around downtown, it's like a backlot of Hollywood. It's kind of weird to see all this stuff. And then when you're not in Vancouver and you're watching on the screen, it's like there. Have you seen the Adam Project, the new Ryan Reynolds movie? It's like all over downtown. It's crazy to see that because you know it so well. You're like, hey, this guy was just down here. But yeah, I think like everybody mentioned, and I think that's the strongest truth that a lot of people don't know. Things like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the most amazing animated film ever created, especially for a Spider-Man fan, was made here in Vancouver. And the sequels, the 2 and 3, are also being made 10 minutes walk from where I am right now in downtown Vancouver. Right, the Sony ImageWorks companies here. Those people are interacting with us in the Web3 space. Special effects people. I've met other animation companies moving to Vancouver for whatever tax credits, whatever we got that's got them up here. But hey, I don't care because that just helps the melting pot grow and grow more. So I feel like this is just the very tip of the iceberg. The people that are on this panel are just the beginners. It's going to get so massive here over time. And what Justin just said is really good to hear because Seattle has a lot of the technical scale. All the big tech companies are there. A lot of big VCs are there. But Vancouver's got the other part of it. So there's probably a lot of cooperation, not combat between each other, I think, in the future. And that's what I want to see more of.
Yeah. I mean, any chance, we're going to have a collision here in Vancouver?
I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to talk to Justin Trudeau about that.
We got to, what we have to do is like, all come together and just do an event together, bring everybody together, do this big event. I think, it's going to do really well. Yeah. So, I mean, thank you everyone for taking the time out today to have a little chat. We're all in Vancouver, happy to share information. Just get in contact with us. We'll share more information and on how to be in contact with us. And, thank you.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll be carrying this conversation over to Twitter Spaces for those who want to join us as well. Take a look at the NFTCON Twitter, and we will be hosting that shortly after as well. We're hosting kind of our follow-up and breakout session over there too. So hopping over to crypto Twitter too. Awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody. And see, definitely there's more Canadians and Vancouver peeps here. Definitely look out for Vancouver and also everybody's projects up here too. So we'll see you guys again, hopefully in another NFTCon in the future, and hear from you guys' future updates too.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.